Ever had a woman you really liked completely ignore you? You text her, wait patiently, and check your phone over and over, but all you get is silence. You see her online posting stories and photos, yet your messages remain unanswered. It hits hard, doesn't it? That gut-sinking feeling. You start questioning everything. Did I say something wrong? Was I too eager? Did I come on too strong? You replay every interaction in your head, trying to figure out where it went off track. But let me tell you something important. Stop. Her ignoring you is not about you, it's about her. And here's the truth: you can use this moment to your advantage. In this guide, we're going to take a stoic approach to the situation. By the time you finish reading, you'll know how to flip the script when a woman ignores you and come out stronger, calmer, and more in control. Let's start with the hard truth. Women test you. They test you by pulling back, by going silent, by seeing how you'll respond when they withdraw attention. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, it's not random. If you react emotionally, if you panic, chase, or confront, then you lose. But if you stay composed, calm, and unaffected, you win. This is the moment to rise above impulse and become the man who commands respect by mastering himself. Today, I'm going to show you how to respond not by playing games, but by becoming the most unshakable, self-controlled version of yourself. This isn't just advice for a single situation. Think of it as a foundation for emotional strength in every area of your life. Why she's ignoring you and why it doesn't matter. Let's get one thing clear: when a woman ignores you, it can feel like a direct attack on your self-worth. You begin questioning your actions, your words, your value. You wonder what you could have done differently. But here's the catch: it's often not even about you. Modern dating is filled with mind games, hidden agendas, and subtle power dynamics. People seek validation. They want to feel in control. Maybe she's testing how much you care. Maybe she's pushing boundaries to see how you'll react. Maybe she's just distracted by her life. Or maybe she isn't as interested as you thought she was. But whatever her reason is, it doesn't really matter. What matters is how you respond. If you're sitting around obsessing, checking your phone every 5 minutes, wondering why she hasn't texted back, you're giving her all the power. You're allowing someone else's actions to control your emotions, your day, and your sense of worth. This is exactly where Stoicism becomes your secret weapon. The Stoics taught one timeless principle: you cannot control what others do, but you can always control your response. Her silence is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Stop overthinking. Don't spiral into insecurity. Focus on what you can control, and that right there is where your strength begins. What to do when a woman ignores you? The first thing you need to understand is a core teaching of Stoicism. There are things you can control and things you can't. You cannot control whether she replies. You can't control her emotions, her choices, or her level of interest. But you can absolutely control how you respond to her silence. And the best response: do nothing. Yes, nothing. Don't send another text. Don't ask if she got your message. Don't try to get her attention. This is not about being passive-aggressive or bitter. This is about showing calm strength and self-respect. You're not ignoring her back out of spite. You're simply choosing not to give your power away. When you do nothing, you take back control. You demonstrate that your mood, your focus, and your confidence are not dependent on someone else's behavior. That kind of control is rare and incredibly attractive. When she goes silent, it can feel like you're losing something. But what you're really gaining is the opportunity to become more grounded. Most men feel desperate in this moment. They double text, they get emotional. Some even send angry messages asking why they're being ignored. But this is exactly what you should avoid. Stoicism is about keeping your dignity even in uncomfortable or confusing situations. It's about emotional discipline. It's about holding your head high no matter what. By doing nothing, you're not showing weakness. You're showing strength. You're proving that you are not dependent on her validation to feel good about yourself. Let's say you've been having what you thought was a great conversation. Suddenly she disappears. No replies, no explanation. Most men panic. They start replaying everything, wondering what went wrong. Then they reach out again, trying to fix it or get clarity. But here's a better approach. Instead of texting her again, focus on yourself. Go to the gym, dive into your work. Do something that fuels your energy. Don't sit around waiting for someone who has gone silent. Live your life as if nothing happened. Her silence becomes your invitation to elevate. And ironically, that's when she might notice you more. When you don't respond with desperation or neediness, you become different from the rest. You show her without saying a word that you're a man who stands firm in his own value. And if she never texts you back, so what? You've already leveled up. You've improved yourself in the process. You've grown mentally stronger. That's a win, no matter how the situation flows out. Stoicism doesn't just help you deal with rejection, it helps you transform through it. You're not just trying to get a woman to respond. You're becoming someone who doesn't need the response in the first place. That's the shift. Step 1, shift the focus back to you. Here's your first actionable move, and it might be the most important. Stop obsessing over her silence and start redirecting that energy toward yourself. Her lack of response is not a signal for you to spiral. It's a gift, a golden opportunity to improve your life and refocus on what truly matters you. This is your chance to level up, to strengthen your body, your mind, and your sense of purpose. So what does that actually all look like? Start with the basics. Hit the gym, clean up your routine, dial in your nutrition, get back on track with your goals, the ones you've been putting off. Maybe you've been meaning to start a new project, build your business, learn a new skill, or reignite an old passion. Now's the time. Dive into your hobbies. Spend time with people who lift you up and respect you. Do the things that make you feel alive and centered. The more you pour into your growth, the more her silence fades into the background, and the more attractive you become, not just to her, but to the world. Because here's the truth, women aren't drawn to men who chase. They're drawn to men who are locked in on a mission. Men who are fulfilled, busy, and not seeking constant validation. That's what creates magnetic energy. Think back to a time in your life when you were dialed in, truly focused. Maybe you were going to the gym consistently and watching your body transform. Maybe you were deep into building something you believed in, or maybe you were immersed in learning, growing, and improving day by day. During those moments, you probably weren't thinking about why someone didn't text you back. You were too focused on your own elevation. That's the mindset you need to bring into every relationship and interaction. When you prioritize your path, people feel it. They're drawn to your focus, your ambition, and your calm certainty, including her. She'll start to wonder what's changed, why you're not reacting, why you seem more confident, more self-contained, and that curiosity is powerful. But more importantly, you won't even be doing it for her. You'll be doing it for you. Because this journey is not about manipulating anyone. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need to be chased because he's too busy growing, leading, and living with purpose. Remember, the goal isn't to win her back or get a response. The goal is to build a life so full and so strong that her silence becomes irrelevant. That's where your power lives, in your ability to take rejection or distance and use it as fuel, to walk away from any situation with more self-respect than you had before. That's the Stoic approach. That's masculine maturity. So next time you feel that familiar urge to text again, to ask what's wrong, or to replay every detail in your head, pause, then redirect. Redirect the attention back to your workouts, your goals, your career, your passions. That's where your peace and progress live. And in doing so, you'll not only get stronger, you'll start to attract people who actually align with your value. Step 2. Use reverse psychology the right way. You've probably heard of reverse psychology in the dating world. And yes, it can be a powerful tool, but only when used with integrity and emotional control. When she ignores you, the instinct might be to reach out again to explain yourself or to demand a response. But instead of chasing her, you do the opposite. You ignore her back, but not in a bitter or angry way. You do it in a calm, detached, and self-assured way. This is not about playing childish games. This is about showing strength and confidence. The moment you stop trying to earn her attention, the moment you stop seeking her validation, she starts to notice. She starts to question your silence. And that's when the dynamic shifts. When a woman expects you to chase and you don't, she begins to wonder, why isn't he texting me? Has he moved on? Is he seeing someone else? And here's where the power of silence comes in. You don't need to say a word. Your lack of reaction says everything. Let's say you've already texted her and she didn't respond. Most guys would feel the urge to follow up, to ask if everything's okay, to try again. But you let it go. You don't text again. You don't explain yourself. You don't give away your power. Instead, you live your life. You go out, You post photos of you working on yourself, out with friends, enjoying your time. Not for her attention, but because you're actually living. And yes, she'll see it. She'll start to wonder why you're no longer chasing. And when she does eventually reach out, and she often will, you stay composed. You don't bring up the fact that she ignored you. You don't ask what happened. You respond politely, briefly, and without emotional neediness, as if nothing happened. This shows her something very few men show: emotional independence. That's the core of reverse psychology in Stoic terms. It's not about manipulation. It's about not reacting to her withdrawal. It's about refusing to give her control over your mood and behavior. That calm, unbothered energy is rare, and it commands respect. You don't win her back by chasing. You become more attractive by showing that your life doesn't stop when she goes silent. You stay grounded, you stay in motion, and ironically, that's what often brings her back. But here's the truth: whether she comes back or not, you've already won. Because you didn't compromise your dignity, you didn't beg, you didn't fold under emotional pressure. You stood tall, and that makes all the difference. Step 3, stay calm and unbothered. One of the most common mistakes men make when a woman ignores them is losing their cool. They get anxious, frustrated, or even angry. And once they react emotionally, they lose all their power. Because here's the truth: emotional instability is obvious, and women can sense it quickly. If you let her silence rattle you, it shows you're not grounded in your own sense of worth. That's exactly what you want to avoid. The Stoic response is clear. Stay calm, stay composed, and remain unshaken. No matter what she does, you maintain emotional stability. Not because you're pretending to be strong, but because you've trained yourself to respond with clarity and purpose, not reactivity. This is not about ignoring your feelings. It's about mastering them. Women and people in general are naturally drawn to those who don't get thrown off by minor setbacks. Calmness signals strength, and strength is irresistible. Next time she goes silent, resist the urge to text again, vent to a friend, or spiral into overthinking. Instead, pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself her behavior does not determine your value. You decide how you feel. You are not dependent on someone else's attention to feel secure. Here's a better option: channel that energy into something productive. Go for a long run, hit the weights, read a book that builds your mind. Work on a goal you have been procrastinating. Do something that reinforces the idea that your life is moving forward with or without her reply. This act of redirecting your focus is not only healthy, it's powerful. Because you're no longer reacting to someone else's behavior, you're taking full control of your emotional world. And here's what's really interesting: when she sees that you're unbothered, when she notices that her silence didn't shake you, it creates curiosity. She expected you to chase, to question, to react. But when you don't, she begins to wonder why. That quiet confidence will stay in her mind far longer than a desperate message ever would. Think of emotional composure as armor. It protects your peace, your pride, and your progress. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes, and the less you feel the need to force outcomes or seek answers from others. When you act with calm certainty, you show the world that you're in control of yourself, and that is far more attractive and respected than any witty comeback or emotional plea. So next time someone pulls away or goes silent, don't let it break your rhythm. Let it remind you who you are: a man who responds, not reacts. A man who leads his life from a place of strength, not need. Her silence is just noise. Your peace is the real power. Step 4, detach from the outcome. This is the most powerful move you can make: detach from the outcome. Whether she responds or not, whether she likes you or loses interest, your peace should remain intact. That is real strength. That is emotional freedom. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about her at all. It means you care more about your well-being, your peace of mind, and your self-respect than you do about gaining her approval. And this shift in mindset is critical if you want to take control of your emotions and your life. When you're attached to the outcome, your emotions rise and fall based on what someone else does. You feel good when she replies. You feel anxious when she doesn't. That kind of emotional dependence is draining. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of chasing and doubting. But when you detach, you break that cycle. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You stop creating stories in your head about what she's thinking or feeling. You stop needing her to respond in order to feel validated. Instead, you return to yourself. You reclaim your time, your energy, and your mental clarity. You remind yourself that you are already enough with or without someone else's attention. Women are drawn to men who are emotionally independent, men who don't crumble when things don't go their way. When you detach from the outcome, you communicate one powerful message: I want you, but I don't need you. That mindset is not only healthy, it's magnetic. Think about it. How many times have you stressed over an outcome, whether it was a job interview, a first date, or a text reply? And the more you worried, the worse you felt. You started replaying conversations, second-guessing yourself, and imagining all kinds of scenarios. Now imagine doing the opposite. Imagine letting go. Imagine telling yourself, whatever happens, I'll be fine. I'll keep moving forward. My happiness isn't tied to this one person or moment. That mindset is liberating. It gives you space to breathe, think clearly, and stay grounded in who you are. That's the Stoic path. It's about accepting reality without becoming emotionally enslaved to it. It's about being okay with whatever outcome life gives you because you trust your own strength to handle it. And when you live that way, you become more powerful, more attractive, and more respected by everyone around you. So the next time she ignores you or pulls away, don't panic. Don't cling to hope or try to change her mind. Simply detach. Trust that if she belongs in your life, she'll come back on her own. And if she doesn't, you're still whole. You don't need closure. You don't need approval. You need clarity, and that comes from within. Final message: master yourself. Reclaim your power. Here's the bottom line: when a woman ignores you, most men panic. They overthink, they chase, they question their worth, and lose control of their emotions. They let someone else's silence dictate how they feel and how they act. But that is exactly what you are not going to do. Not anymore. Now you understand what's really happening. You know that when she goes silent, it's often a test, a way to see how you'll react. Will you stay grounded or will you fall apart? Will you try harder to win her back? Or will you take a step back and reclaim your focus? This moment is not about her. It is about you. It is your opportunity to show that you're different, that you are unshaken, that you don't need external validation to stay in control of your emotions. Most men let their feelings run the show. They spiral the moment they feel rejected. They start texting more. They demand answers. They become needy and anxious. But you're not going to be that man, because now you have the tools to respond with strength, clarity, and dignity. You've learned how to stop chasing and start leading. You've learned that the most powerful move you can make is no move at all. When she ignores you, you no longer feel the need to react. You don't text again. You don't ask what's wrong. You don't feed the silence with desperation. You stay calm, you stay composed, and you keep moving forward. This is not about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to shake. By doing nothing, you're not giving up. You're rising above the need to be constantly acknowledged. You're saying, I know my worth, and I don't need to beg for attention to prove it. You've also learned to redirect your energy. Every time you feel the urge to chase, you now use that moment to build yourself. You hit the gym, get back into your goals, and work on your personal growth. You become stronger, sharper, more focused, and as a result, more attractive, because confidence is built through action, not approval. You understand that reverse psychology isn't about manipulation. It's about holding emotional control. You don't ignore her to punish her. You simply don't allow her silence to shake you. That calm, grounded presence speaks louder than any message you could send. You've also discovered the importance of detachment. You no longer tie your happiness to her response. You know that whether she texts back or not, whether she chooses you or not, your peace stays the same. That is real freedom. That is real power. You're not here to prove your worth to anyone. You're here to build a life. You're proud of a life that doesn't pause every time someone disappears. You're not chasing approval anymore. You're living with purpose. Let that sink in, because this isn't just about how to handle one woman ignoring you. This is about mastering yourself in every area of life. When you learn to manage your emotions, control your reactions, and detach from outcomes, you become unstoppable. People start treating you differently. They sense your confidence, your self-respect, your focus, and they respond to it. You stop being the man who needs validation, and you become the man who commands respect simply by being grounded in who he is. So the next time someone pulls away, falls silent, or starts playing games, don't flinch. Don't chase. Don't doubt yourself. Instead, rise, stand tall, stay calm, Let your silence say everything. Focus on your growth. Focus on your purpose. Let your discipline, not your emotions, lead the way. Because the man who doesn't react, the man who remains centered and calm no matter what, is the man who wins in the end. And if you've made it this far, then you're ready to become that man. The kind of man who doesn't beg for respect, but earns it through presence, power, and emotional mastery. So take this knowledge and live it. Walk into every interaction with your head high, knowing you are enough. You do not chase, you attract. You do not react, you respond. And you do not fear rejection because you have already accepted yourself. That is Stoic strength, and that is who you are becoming. If you've ever felt ignored, dismissed, or left in silence by someone you cared about, let this be your wake-up call. Not to chase them, but to choose yourself. Her silence is not a verdict on your worth. It's a mirror reflecting how much power you've given away. Instead of seeking answers or obsessing over what you did wrong, shift your focus inward. Use that energy to grow stronger mentally, physically, and emotionally. Go to the gym, invest in your goals, reconnect with your purpose. The more you build yourself, the less you need validation from others. Emotional control is not about being cold, it's about being composed. When you stop reacting and start responding with calm, quiet confidence, you not only protect your peace, you also become someone others naturally respect and admire. Remember, the right people will never make you feel like you have to beg for their attention. So detach from outcomes. Let go of the need for closure. Trust that everything happening is redirecting you to something greater. You don't need to chase what's not choosing you. Instead, become the kind of man who is too focused on his mission to be fazed by silence. That's your real power.